Hi everyone, my name is Aaron and welcome back to my channel. My voice is struggling a bit thanks to a long weekend in Key West, but I'm going to do my best to make it work. So I've been wanting to do this video for a while now. I wanted to discuss season 2 of The Boys, which is a fantastic show on Amazon Prime. It's a superhero show. It's based on a series of comic books that were done back in 2006. And in season 2 of this show, they introduce a cult that is completely based on Scientology. To anyone who has familiarity with Scientology, it was probably pretty obvious that the Church of the Collective, which is the name of the cult in the TV show, was modeled after Dianetics and Scientology. But I'd be really curious to hear from other people who've been involved in other high control groups, if maybe they also believed it was their group that was being parodied in the show, and why. So if you have any thoughts on that, put it down in the comments below. This video is going to get into some spoilers, so if that's something you want to steer clear of, maybe don't watch this video just yet. So in this show, superheroes are basically flawed celebrities. And so to me, it's pretty hilarious that this cult exists to help these flawed celebrities be the best possible version of themselves, which is pretty much exactly how Scientology sees itself and the role it thinks or pretends it is performing in Hollywood. Now, the show isn't about the cult. The show is about the superheroes and the company. It's like Superheroes Inc. To introduce this first clip, the Deep is a character. He's a superhero who can talk to fishes. He has lost his way. He's been kicked out of the inner core of the superhero company. The inner core is called the Seven, and he's been kicked out for being a womanizer, and he's basically at a low point in his life. He's fallen on hard times. He's having public meltdowns. He just got arrested. In this clip, the Deep is being bailed out of jail by another superhero who's fallen on hard times, named Eagle the Archer.
Swim free, little fish. Made bail. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Want a Fresca? Thanks.
So there's this running joke about Fresca through the entire season. It's like a secret handshake, but instead of a handshake, it's a soda. They never actually explain what the deal is with Fresca. They don't explain why that has any relationship to the cult, why cult members drink Fresca. I sort of got the impression that maybe it was kind of their version of, you know, Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid, but that seems like maybe a bit of a stretch. The only other thing it kind of reminded me of is like what function was Fresca playing is sort of like if you're a Scientologist, there's certain coded language that you can listen for, that if you hear someone use this language, you know they're a Scientologist. Words like survival, ethical, pro-survival, dynamics, flourish and prosper, and then some really specific ones like sessionable, studentable, onlines, on course, in session. These are words that have their own rightful place in the English language, except for a few of them there. But when you hear them used in a particular way, in a particular context, you know that person is a Scientologist. So to me, that was kind of the Fresca joke.
You bailed me out? Yeah. Why? Because even heroes need a hand once in a while.
This phrase, even heroes need a hand once in a while, to me was a reflection on Scientology's slogan that Scientology helps the able be more able. It really is something that appeals to people who already think they're pretty great. And what better analogy for that than a freaking superhero who can't seem to get his life in order? Helping the able be more able is the slogan of Scientology. And what that means is they're not there to help the poor. They're not there to help the indigent, the homeless, the down and out. Scientology is there to help people who are already competent and successful be more competent and successful. And it just really seemed like that's what they were going for here with this cults for superheroes thing.
Thanks for letting me crash. Oh shit, you scared me.
That's just Carol.
I've been looking forward to meeting you, Deep. Would you like a Fresca?
And what are you, his therapist or something?
No, therapy's very destructive.
So you see that comment about therapy being destructive. That is, of course, to me, a reflection of Scientology's belief that anything to do with psychiatry, psychology, or any type of mental health therapy of any kind whatsoever, other than what Scientologists believe you can get through Scientology, is considered to be practically the worst thing anybody could possibly do. Just think of Tom Cruise giving Brooke Shields shit about being diagnosed with postpartum depression or taking some medication for it or whatever. It really is a big thing in Scientology to be anti-therapy.
You know what? I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's weird as fuck, so I'm leaving.
Well, we just want to help.
No, thank you.
Help you get back into the Seven.
So that reference there, that joining the Church of the Collective, is something that somebody might do to advance their professional goals, to me is a nod to how Scientology uses that same tagline to recruit people in Hollywood. It dangles this carrot of professional success as a reason why an aspiring actor or actress might want to join Scientology. It uses actors like Tom Cruise and John Travolta as examples, but it also offers, Scientology offers workshops for networking and acting and producing and directing and all this stuff. And it promotes these workshops in the trade publications for the industry, like Variety, and they literally go to Central and Cinex Casting and pass out flyers for these workshops. The implication being that if you really want to make it in this industry, come and take these workshops at Scientology and then take a look at Scientology itself. Take a look at the bottom of that book there where it says Destinations, a New Science of Self-Renewal, which is remarkably similar to Dianetics, the Modern Science of Mental Health.
So you get them right?
There's no correct or incorrect answer.
So when he says, did I get them right? And she goes, there is no correct or incorrect answer. To me, this is a nod to Scientology's personality test. In Scientology, they call it the OCA, the Oxford Capacity Analysis Test. It has absolutely nothing to do with Oxford. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything scientific in any way, shape, or form. It is really just a sales tool. It's 200 questions. You answer yes, no, or maybe to all these questions. They run it through a little grading software. And again, you're told there is no right or wrong answer. Really, the reason there's no right or wrong answer is because it's just used as a sales tool. It's not a test to pass or fail. If you have some bad scores on it, you're told your bad scores are the reason why you need Scientology. If you have some good scores on it, the good scores are given to you as a reason why you need Scientology. It is really just a sales tool. So anyway, I know it's a really small point. It's like a passing comment. There is no right or wrong answer. But to me, that's what that was a reflection of.
I don't know what the fuck you want from me.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Can I have a word? I don't mean to be negative, but his operating perspective is functionally non-existent.
Leave it to me.
His operating perspective is functionally non-existent. So this is a combination of two different things in Scientology, operating thetan and the condition of non-existence. And the definitions of those words for our purposes don't matter. And they're not being used correctly, even if that was the goal. But to me, I was like, these guys do good research. These guys are using terminology. Whether they intended to use it right or wrong isn't really the point. The point is that they're still using the terminology. They do know a bit about what they're doing there.
See, you're just inhibited by suppressive energy. That's it. Just gotta realign things.
You're inhibited by suppressive energy. You need to realign things. I think one of the most well-known aspects of Scientology is this part of Scientology that talks about suppressive people. Anyone who's watched the Leah Remini Aftermath show has seen a lot of testimonials from people talking about what happened in their life when the church labeled them a suppressive person. So to me, any mention in this TV show, The Boys, about suppressive energy or toxic personality, in Scientology, an antisocial personality and a suppressive person is two words that mean one and the same and are used interchangeably. So toxic personality, suppressive energy, to me is a pretty clear reference to just this part of Scientology about suppressive people.
What is it, shrooms? Wait, are you not gonna drink any?
Oh, Steve, this is your journey.
Hey, in here, open up. Bro, we gotta talk. No, you gotta look at us. Look at us.
Hey!
You can't swim.
Hey! Let me out, man! Just let me out! Let me out, man!
Ride it, brother.
Wow, now this scene in the show is pretty damn funny, and I've edited this all heavily. These clips are very short compared to what's actually in the program. And the scene is funny, but its roots in Scientology is pretty sinister. In Scientology, you have what's called the introspection rundown. And if someone's having a psychotic break, just some kind of mental breakdown, they are put onto what's called the introspection rundown, which is really just Scientology talk for putting someone in a room and locking them in there and leaving them in there by themselves until they snap out of it. And this is how Lisa McPherson died. Now in the show, the Deep is given hallucinogens and is then put into the room to like work through it. And in the show, this is like part of their process of, I don't know, it seems like it's sort of like therapy. In Scientology, this isn't something that would be induced in an individual. An introspection rundown is not considered a good thing. It's not considered part of the process, if you will. It's something that happens when something has gone horribly wrong, which seems to happen quite frequently in Scientology, actually. Because of my particular background with Scientology, I think little things that the characters are doing in the show probably hit me a little different than they might hit someone else, but I was really struck by the fact that, you know, the guys inside the room freaking out and demanding to get out. And just look at the confidence in Eagle the Archer, I guess I'll just call him Eagle. Look at the confidence he has standing outside the door, ignoring this guy's pleas to get out. And look how confident he is that as long as he stays in there and stays the course, that everything will be fine. And there's not even the slightest bit of concern there for the will of the individual inside the room who doesn't want to be there and wants to get out. And there's that little phrase that Eagle uses there at the end. I don't have the video clip in front of me right now, but it's something like, was it ride it through, ride the wave, or something like that. There is a phrase in Scientology, the way out is the way through. And this phrase is used in auditing sessions when the person receiving the auditing is objecting to having to do the process. And it's the auditor's job to convince the person getting the auditing to keep going with the auditing session. And one of the phrases that is commonly used to do so is, the way out is the way through. In other words, you ain't getting out of this except finishing it. And I swear to God, the people doing this show know what the hell they're talking about. And I'm really curious because I never read the comic books. So I don't know how much of what we're seeing on screen is what was in the comic books back in 2006, or if they've taken some liberty with updating it and maybe making it more specifically mirrored on Scientology. I'm not entirely sure, but I suspect a lot of this does come from the comic books themselves.
Deep, it's time. It's your time to get back into the Seven. This came from Alistair himself.
Who?
Alistair Donna, the leader of the church. He sits in the first chair.
With everything going on, I don't think I can do it right now.
No, Deep, this is your journey.
You're ready. You have been ready all along. Now get out there and be a hero.
So this is the first reference that we have to the David Miscavige character. This is a composite character, partly David Miscavige, partly L. Ron Hubbard, partly some other people that most people wouldn't have any idea who they are. In Scientology, David Miscavige is known as chairman of the board. To me, that's pretty similar to this phrase, he sits in the first chair. I might be stretching it a little bit, but it seems close enough.
Communication is everything.
They say if you love someone, you should set them free. But that seems crazy to me because if you love someone, you will never let them go.
Like my last boyfriend was obsessed with Ed Sheeran. So he asked me to get one of these with him.
I believe the secret to a great relationship is to be willing. I'm a feminist, but I'm also very sexual. And I don't see that as contradictory.
Thank you for coming in, Gianna.
Her, Gianna, I choose her.
Oh my God, they even wrote in interviewing girlfriends for the Deep, just like Scientology interviewed girlfriends for Tom Cruise. I couldn't believe it when I saw this is where they were going with the show. It's funny, in the episode itself, as you're watching the episode, they're like hour-long episodes, they just randomly edit in these clips of girls speaking about subjects that aren't really relevant to anything going on in the show. And then it goes back to the normal storyline. And then they show like another 15-second clip of a girl talking to the camera. And you're thinking, what the hell is going on here? And towards the end of the episode, they give you the reverse angle and they give you that pan over and you say, oh my God, they're being interviewed on camera to be this guy's girlfriend. They really went there with the Tom Cruise thing. Unbelievable.
Deep, you look so happy. I hardly recognize you.
Katie, I'm in love, you know, to an extraordinary woman I'm now blessed to call my wife.
And so there you go. Instead of Tom Cruise talking to Oprah about Katie, we now have the Deep talking to Katie about his girlfriend. I don't know if they put Katie Couric in there as like a wink wink thing, but I thought that was really funny. Because then they're able to have, so, you know, you had Tom Cruise being like, I'm in love with Katie, but then you have the Deep going, I'm in love, Katie.
So you are both members of the Church of the Collective.
Even that question where Katie Couric is like, so just to be clear, you're both members of the church now? Katie, Holmes was asked that exact question. And oh my God, I haven't done the research. It would be amazing if Katie Couric is the one who asked Katie Holmes that question. I really don't know. I don't remember. But I distinctly remember watching Katie being asked this question and so awkwardly answering. You could tell it was like the first time she'd ever publicly acknowledged that, yes, she too was also now a Scientologist. Well, and that's why the question was even being asked in the interview, is because she'd never quite been clear about, so is she now a Scientologist too?
They said there'd be food.
Well, this is food for your soul.
Me? Oh my God, hi. What brought you here?
Oh.
Wait, do you want to check this out?
Oh, fuck no.
Okay.
Oh my God, handing out books at a homeless shelter instead of handing out food or clothing or anything else that would actually help the homeless is such a Scientology thing to do. Now, the thing is, Scientology doesn't give a damn about the homeless and would never actually spend any time even trying to give books to the homeless. But it is a nod to the other thing that they do, which is going to these disaster sites and helping victims by doing things that has nothing to do with anything you would traditionally identify with helping victims. And yes, I do mean things like passing out literature, which is the last thing people whose homes have just been destroyed by an earthquake or a hurricane or a flood need, is books about how to be a better person. It's so silly.
Would you like a fresca?
So here we see the building that in this show they say is the church headquarters. And that building looks exactly like Scientology's Celebrity Center in Hollywood. 100% exactly like the Celebrity Center.
So, what's on your mind, A-Train?
Deep invited me here, so, you know.
Oh, hell no.
Please sit down.
No, look, man, I seen that documentary about you guys. It's not my type of shit.
For a man in seven-figure debt, a heart condition, and in heavy withdrawal, do you really think you have the luxury to get up and leave? The church knows all kinds of things. But don't worry, we also know how to be discreet, especially for our members.
And so here we have Alistair Adana. Again, he's the head of the church in the show. So there he reveals that he already has a whole bunch of dirt on A-Train. Now, this is a combination of things that people have come to know Scientology for, which is that its auditing process consists of people revealing their deepest, darkest secrets, and all this stuff gets documented in auditing files. The auditor's literally taking notes during the auditing session, and the person getting the auditing, this isn't a secret that all of their secrets are being written down. Like, it's understood this is part of the process. And these things are all documented, you know, pen to paper. These papers are saved in auditing files called PC folders. And so Scientology has become known for this process where they basically have all the dirt on you. Now, here's what's interesting about this clip. A-Train isn't a member yet, so that's not where they got the dirt on him. So that's why I said this is a combination of what Scientology has become known for, which is the therapy, the auditing procedure that results in them having a shitload of dirt on you, but also the Office of Special Affairs is what it's called in Scientology, the department that's in charge of digging up dirt or even manufacturing dirt on anyone perceived to be a threat or an enemy to Scientology. I believe the word they used in the show is Internal Research Bureau. That's the Church of the Collective's version of Scientology's Office of Special Affairs.
Hey, guys. Hey. Glad you came.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Good to see you, too.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. By the way, what do you guys think of Eagle the Archer?
Oh, he's like a brother to me. Yeah, he was there for me when I was at rock bottom. He's the most kind, loving person that you
He's
ever...
a toxic personality, and no church members are to have any contact with him whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. No, now that you mention it, he did seem pretty toxic. Yeah. What did he do?
Well, he claims the program had failed him, but actually, he failed the program. He doesn't exist. You understand?
My God, this was my favorite scene in the show. You know, disconnection in Scientology is not funny at all, but the way it is parodied in this show is hilarious. This is the other thing Scientology has become most known for. I think the top two things Scientology is known for is having an immense amount of dirt on all of its members and insisting that you cannot speak to people who've left the church. They call it the disconnection policy. And it's what tears apart families. It's what keeps more people from leaving Scientology, actually, because even if they don't want to be in Scientology anymore, they don't want to go through all of the upheaval in their life that would occur if they leave and they lose all their friends, all their family, their employers, you know, everything. It's a whole mess. And anyone who's watched Leah Remini's Scientology and the Aftermath show knows all about that. This scene takes what is kind of a complicated subject and a very emotional subject and distills it down to something that is so silly and absurd that it just turns it into what I feel is great comedy. You know, mid-sentence, oh, this guy's great. He was there for me. He's one of my best friends. He was there for my lowest levels. You can never speak to him again. He's a toxic personality. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem. I mean, it really does reflect what genuinely happens in Scientology, which is there's almost no such thing as a real friend. There's almost no such thing as real relationships, even familial, because the only thing that is considered important is one's standing in Scientology. And you could have someone be your best friend today, and then tomorrow he will never speak to you again. I mean, I'm speaking from personal experience. A lot of people did it to me when I left Scientology, and I did it to a lot of people when I was in Scientology. So, like, this is legit.
I told him I wasn't gonna cut my mom out of my life. That's it. And then the church and their internal research bureau leaked all this shit on me.
This, my jaw just hit the floor on this scene here. I was like, my God. Because whereas I'm not unique in this matter, you know, what that guy just said in that clip is exactly why I got labeled a suppressive person and kicked out of Scientology, because I wouldn't disconnect from my mother. And the reason my wife got labeled a suppressive person and kicked out of Scientology is because she wouldn't divorce me. And so when he goes, I just told him I wasn't going to cut my mom out of my life. That's all. I didn't even do anything. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God, I can't believe they're getting into this level of detail on the storyline. And that's really what made me wonder how much of the details we're seeing on screen are from the comic books themselves and how much have been overlaid specifically for the show. Because I'll tell you, Scientology and the Aftermath and a lot of these stories that people are familiar with now didn't exist in 2006. So I just don't know. If anyone else does know and they're familiar with the comic books, definitely let me know in the comments down below. How much of what we're seeing on the screen here was in the comic books? How much of what we're seeing is a more recent overlay?
Church spokeswoman Carol Manheim had this to say. He's been spreading slanderous and defamatory rumors about our religion in a desperate attempt to stay relevant.
Everything that church spokesperson just said about Eagle the Archer is exactly what Scientology says about Leah Remini. I'm going to use my little cheat sheet here. I copied and pasted exact quotes that Scientology has released to the press about Leah Remini. She needs to move on with her life instead of exploiting her former religion, her former friends, for money and attention to appear relevant again. Exactly what that church spokesperson is saying on TV about Eagle. Another quote, well, not a direct quote actually. And just as Remini surely anticipated, the church has not eased up on its portrayal of the actress, as it has been desperately using Scientology to stay relevant. A real religious, churchy type stuff to say about former members. These guys have no self-awareness whatsoever.
So you had a chance to look over our proposal?
What sort of commission is the church getting these days? 40%? 50?
Sounds like you're open to reinstatement. That's fantastic.
So I took this comment about, well, what commission are you getting these days? 40%, 50%? I take that as a nod to the fact that there is a commission structure within Scientology for getting new people into Scientology. If you bring someone into Scientology and they sign up for auditing, you get 10% of whatever they pay for the auditing. If they sign up for courses, I believe it's 15% if they sign up for courses, 10% for auditing. Now in the TV show, the head of the church is like acting as the business manager for his celebrity clients. That's not how Scientology works. So it's not like a one-for-one comparison here. I do feel like this was a nod to the fact that a commission structure does exist. So there's a storyline here that's a little bit too long for me to include clips of it to try to adequately explain it. But basically, A-Train is having trouble getting back into the Seven because one of the senior members of the Seven, it turns out, is secretly actually a Nazi, like literally a Nazi who's 100 years old and keeps taking on new forms and whatever. But because she's a Nazi, she doesn't like black people. So she doesn't want A-Train back in the Seven. And then A-Train finds out that this superhero used to be a member of the Church of the Collective. And therefore, they have all of the secrets about her Nazi past in the church files that they have. So A-Train steals her church files and leaks them to the press so that that woman would get kicked out of the 7 and then he can get back in. That proves to be a successful plan. So A-Train gets back into the 7 and then we see this meeting here.
I'm afraid we had an incident at the archives. Someone broke in and stole PDR on Stormfront.
PDR?
Private Data Reserve.
That was you? Dude!
I think it showed initiative. Stormfront's been critical of the church for a long time, and Vought needs to take a firm anti-Nazi stance right now. I just spoke to Stan Edgar. You're back in.
Yeah, A-Train is back, baby! Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
I'm sorry, Deep, but they only had one slot.
So they took him?
You have to be patient, Deep. We'll get you into a few more courses, up to level 7.
No, I don't want to pay for any more fucking courses.
Deep, please calm down.
I signed over my bank account to you. I filled out all those fucking children's workbooks. I married some weirdo. I did everything you asked. And when I found out that we're all just fucking space bores, I didn't laugh. I did everything you asked. Because you said you'd get me back in the 7. You fucking promised.
I'm sorry, Deep, but you are acting like a toxic personality. I think you should leave.
Fuck Fresca.
Oh my God, they actually mentioned level 7. Well, most people who know anything about Scientology know that it has levels of auditing and it's got its bridge to total freedom. And the longest, most famous level of auditing is called OT7. In fact, OT7 takes so long that even though there's many levels, Scientologists will refer to it casually as the level. Oh, he makes the joke about space spores. That is a joke about Xenu and the body thetans that you learn about on OT3 in Scientology. And instead of getting into all of that here, just Google Xenu, body thetans, South Park, and you'll learn everything you ever wanted to know about it. But man, these guys are funny as hell.
Congratulations on the appointment, Congresswoman. We have enough dirt to ruin a dozen soups. That is, of course, if you're open to expediting the church's tax-exempt status.
Small price to pay.
If there were any doubt at all that the Church of the Collective was modeled on Scientology, or that the Alistair church leader guy was modeled on Miscavige, that was removed from me on this scene when he's using leverage against politicians to get tax-exempt status for the organization. Unbelievable. And then this amazing finale. Oh my God, his goddamn head exploded. Oh, this brings us to a question that people ask all the time with respect to Scientology is, if David Miscavige dies, who will take over? And the answer is, nobody knows, because there is no replacement. That's not how it works in Scientology. There is literally no second in command who is known to be the one that will step in and take over. And so now we have the exact same question for the Church of the Collective. Who in the world is going to take over now that this dude's head just exploded? So that's all I got on this one. I've been wanting to do a video on this for a while. I did a similar video about the TV show The Path. The only reason I stopped doing it is because it was just taking me so long. The videos were so long. There was so much to talk about. And it was harder with that one because the entire show is basically about the cult. Whereas this TV show we're talking about here, The Boys, it's not about the cult. It's about this company of superheroes. And the cult is just like a small little side storyline. So it was easier to cover it in a video that's not too long. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope my voice wasn't too much of a distraction. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click